Okay, guys, attack run complete. Clear account.
Left, left, left! There you are. Shit! Watch the street! Watch left, watch left. Pushing up. What's up, everybody? It is a Blue Drake, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about Insurgency Sandstorm, which I've been playing a lot more recently. And one of the things that I've been growing to really appreciate about Sandstorm is how much potential it has outside of just the casual shooter market. As many of you guys know, Insurgency has always been a really fun side game for me. It's not the kind of game that my channel was really built around, but it has a lot of those same elements where it's still enjoyable. It's not a hardcore combined arms tactical shooter like Arma or even Project Reality, but it's still absolutely fun. However, one of the things that I've been growing to realize, especially as I've been playing the game more and more, is how it actually could become that this time around. Obviously, the previous Insurgency game only could do so much within the Source engine, but Sandstorm has so much more under the hood than I think a lot of us, especially myself, really realized. The vehicle system is really incredible. The weapon handling, the character movement, all of it is really, really great. In fact, one of the only things that I've really been kind of frustrated and confused about with Insurgency Sandstorm is how little they've taken advantage of these incredible things in the game that they obviously must have put a lot of work and attention into. And with mod support, hopefully coming right around the corner, I really think this might end up being Insurgency Sandstorm's real time to shine. There's a lot of really strange things in Insurgency Sandstorm, and it's one of those games that has so much more going on than I really think they take advantage of. For instance, in this scene, when you enter the map, these vehicles that you drive in on are not drivable. However, ironically, Insurgency Sandstorm has one of the best vehicle driving and combat systems I've seen in a UE4 game. And this is kind of across the board. Insurgency's weapon handling mechanics and their suppression mechanics and their voice communications and their vehicle handling and all of these different systems are really, really incredible. But the gameplay is so similar to the previous Insurgency with very scaled down gameplay and very small claustrophobic maps that I feel that right now we're only getting a very small glimpse of what Insurgency Sandstorm really has to offer. And with mod support coming right around the corner, I think we're about to get a first taste of that. We know that the UE4 engine is capable of much larger maps, especially with the kind of improvements that NWI has likely been making to the engine in Sandstorm. When you compare it to Source, the kinds of things that you're actually going to be able to do with this is going to be astronomically scaled up. And this kind of hit me the most recently when I started playing Insurgency Sandstorm with the HUD off. I was playing with a couple of my friends and Karmakut, and we were trying to experiment with a few more hardcore gameplay styles. And the first thing that I always do whenever I want to experiment with more hardcore gameplay is I just go straight to the HUD and any visual elements on screen, and I just turn them all the way down. I did the same thing with Battlefield 1, and I have to tell you, playing Battlefield 1 with the HUD off is an incredible experience. Same with Star Wars Battlefront. But while playing Insurgency Sandstorm with the HUD off, it was a completely different experience. One that I really think that NWI should start expounding on and looking into. And honestly, I think that this game would work really, really well with a minimalistic HUD option. You wouldn't even have to make it a part of the core game. You could easily make it something that's toggleable, but it completely changes the experience. And I think this is when it really first hit us that this could potentially become something, especially with the modding community, much bigger than it is right now. And NWI really understands their audience, and Insurgency Sandstorm is already a really great game, and they appeal to a very specific kind of casual shooter that's looking for something a little bit more tactical. But at the same time, for a lot of other players that play Insurgency who are used to more hardcore teamwork and larger scale maps, I think that we've always been kind of forced to choose. Do we want to play something that's more accessible and maybe a little bit more casual, or do we want to play something a little bit more hardcore, but that alienates a lot of the more casual players that we would normally want to play with? And I think Insurgency Sandstorm might be one of the first games that can bridge that larger gap. This is a game that actually has vehicles. It has hardcore shooter mechanics, and there's a lot of very easily tweakable things in this game that if you allow custom servers to have different mods, different maps, different mechanics that they can change, I think you can take this really, really far. We already know what the Unreal Engine is capable of. We already know what NWI is capable of. Insurgency Sandstorm already has a lot of mechanics and features that if you were to just make larger and bigger and better, you could really have the kind of gameplay that I think a lot of us in the hardcore tactical shooter crowd have grown accustomed to. If you were to even take the existing Insurgency gameplay and scale it up to a 4-kilometer map with more varied environments, I think that by itself would be a massive improvement. If you were to create a more minimalistic HUD that's an option for players to use, or even potentially a server-side setting, I think that also would go really far into bringing out the deeper tactical gameplay potential from Sandstorm. If you were to make a couple of basic tweaks to the movement speeds and to some of the really basic elements of gameplay, nothing complex, nothing that's a massive overhaul. We already have bipods. We already have a really great collection of weapons. We've already really got a great VoIP system. We've even got a good squad system and great mechanics for customizing weapons. If you can take that and scale it up with larger scale maps, more varied map design, with vehicles, with VoIP, with team coordination, I think this might be one of the first mainstream titles that can simultaneously cater to casual tactical shooters as well as hardcore tactical shooters at the same time in the same server list. And that's really exciting to me. So, I really enjoy Insurgency Sandstorm, and I really enjoy it in its current state. It's already a really good game, even if it's very similar to the previous game. And I think NWI definitely knows their crowd. They know exactly who they're catering to. But in this case, I think there's an opportunity where you could absolutely have your cake and eat it too. When you look at how little would need to be done in order to take this to the level that a lot more hardcore tactical shooter fans are really invested in, I think that that is so feasible that as this game continues to progress and evolve, and especially as the modding community continues to progress and evolve, we're going to see Sandstorm have a whole renaissance of content and a whole new crowd of people that I think are going to look at it in a way that they've never looked at an Insurgency game before. And that's really exciting to me. That's something that's really starting to catch my attention. I think that Sandstorm has the potential to go somewhere where their series has never gone before and to bridge a gap to a whole new audience that has never really thought of their game in that way. And if that happens, then I think I am definitely going to be along for the ride. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to let the rest of this video play out. This is gameplay that I was recording with Karma, where we had our heads-up displays turned off, and this was really one of the first times that I got that feeling where I was like, wow, this actually feels like properly immersive, and not like immersive in like a oh it's pretty way. Like I'm actually coordinating, I'm actually checking my corners because it's harder. You're checking your targets because you don't have like those ghost recon symbols up that just kind of like tell you everything that are in your face. And I almost got that same feeling that I've gotten from other hardcore tactical games that I've never gotten from an Insurgency game before. And that's when it really first hit me. And if we continue allowing the community to push at least a part of the game, obviously not the entire game, there's always going to be people that enjoy the casual side of things. But I think that if there's going to be a niche inside Sandstorm that are able to expound on this kind of gameplay, that could be really cool. All right, so I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. This is with the HUD turned off and us desperately trying to take back a city from insurgents. And if you guys enjoy this, let me know if you want to see more of this kind of content in the comments below. All right, take care, guys. Love you, and cheers. Cover me, I'm pushing up.
Down on the ground! Get down!
Setting up.
Ah! Fuck!
Pushing across the street.
Rear.
Contacts to the left.
Cover me, goddammit! We've got it! Reloading!
All right, I'm here. Karma, you still up? Take that as a no.
We got 4 people left.
Okay. Wait for the mortars to finish.
Damn it!
Watch it. Fuck. Don't tell me I'm
Count to 3.
Where's the rest of my guys?
I'm by the courtyard.
Alright, I'm coming in.
Just you and me.
Shit!
Ah!
Did we lose them all? Ah, brutal. That was pretty dope,
Yeah,
though.
they came at us from behind.
Good try, guys.